Today I'm going to talk to you about the downside of dreadlocks. Obviously there's a lot of videos out there, people are like, oh, my dreads, you should get dreads, dreads rule. And that's true, I believe that, dreads are awesome. But it's not all like fun and games. There are some downsides, and so I want to make those known, because if you're thinking about getting dreads, or you already have dreads, you're in the early stages, whatever, it's like, let's be real about this and acknowledge that some parts of dreads suck. And so some of the things that are bad is like, it depends on what stage you're on in the dread cycle. The first 6 months, pretty brutal. That's the real testing ground for people. It's like, if you can make it past the first 6 months, you're going to stick it out and you're going to be okay. If you can't, a lot of people end up cutting them there, pulling them out there, because that's where your patience is really tested. One, they don't look as good. They don't look like this when you first get them. They take time to form. And so for that first 6 months, you get the most annoying comments in the world. A lot of people are like, I can't tell you how many people came up to me like, I thought you were getting dreads. Or a lot of people are like, hey, my friend had dreads, so that makes them a dread expert. And you did yours wrong. Like, you need to get them redone. And those comments like drive me nuts. And you just have to just tell them like, hey, dreads take time to form. Just come back to me in a year and we'll see. And then it's like, when they get to this point or whatever, you're like, yeah, what up? Told you. And that's real how I felt afterwards, because like those 6 months are annoying. And maintenance is rough. If you're going to blunt the tips on yours, that's a tedious process. That takes a long time to blunt all your tips, especially if you have a lot of dreads. Because some of you out there have a lot thinner dreads. So you've got some of you have 100 dreads. That's a lot of time. I only had 37, and it took me who knows how many hours. It took forever. And so stuff like that's annoying. Dealing with loose hair, it's kind of frustrating, especially some people like myself, we use a crochet hook to tuck it away. Some people don't touch loose hair, so it doesn't bother them. So if you're like that, no biggie. But if you're like me and you like to have them, more pretty clean looking, then stuff like that becomes kind of a nuisance. And loose hair isn't just for 6 months; that's forever. Like I'm 2 years in, and got loose hair. So I hate that stuff. I also don't like how long dreads take to dry. Another thing, about the blunted tips is water doesn't run through as well. So if you have blunted tips, it takes even longer. But even if you don't, it still takes a long time to dry, and that's just frustrating sometimes because I towel dry it, I blow dry it, I do all this stuff, but then I'm sitting there and I get up and my shirt's wet because they've been dripping on my shirt. Like, they take a long time to dry, so you have to keep that in mind. And also, since dreads can't be washed as often as regular hair, it's not good to wash that often. I don't exercise as much because I don't want to shower and wash them as much. And if I don't wash them after I exercise, they'll kind of smell kind of sweaty, So I think if I didn't have dreadlocks, I would work out more, play more sports and stuff. So that's actually held me back in that area. One, because the washing thing, like I was saying, and two, just because sometimes long hair is just annoying when you're playing sports. It just gets in your way, flopping in your face, all that stuff. And like right now, I'm taking a Muay Thai class at the gym at my school. One of my roommates is my partner at the gym, and this stuff gets in the way. Like when we're doing these different jiu-jitsu type moves and stuff on the ground, like different submissions, his knees on my hair. I'm like, oh, get off, get off, get off. And so that especially gets in my way. But even other sports, like basketball or soccer stuff, it's kind of annoying. So those are things you need to think about. If you're thinking about getting dreads or you have them, know that that's the stuff that you're going to deal with. And so am I saying that this stuff sucks and you shouldn't get dreads? Of course not. I would never tell you that. If you want dreads, go for it, man. Or woman. But know that it isn't all fun and games. There's stuff you got to deal with, and there's some sacrifices you have to make everything work. It just sometimes just adds a little bit of it's just a little bit of a nuisance in daily life. But overall, obviously, I love having dreads, so I'm not going to tell you that I hate them. I don't. I absolutely love them. But sometimes I think life would be a little easier with them. But obviously, there's a lot of upsides to dreads because they're awesome. So just some food for thought, stuff to keep in mind. So if you're thinking about getting dreads, consider these things, but don't let me talk you out of it. And if you're in the early stages, stick it out. Don't give up on those first 6 months. And if you're in the later stages, just cruising, bro. Enjoy it. All right, you guys have a good one.